Welcome back to the Curiosity Cave. I'm Scott, and I did a show over the weekend. It's a pretty awesome show, and picked up some nice items. But the best thing that I got at the end of the show, gentleman came in, and he was showed me a stack of exhibit cards from his dad's collection that he had inherited, and there's a lot of cards there that were upgrades, a lot of cards that I can add to my complete set or help me complete my set. Picked up a stack of 52 exhibit cards. I'm going to go through these in alphabetical order. They're all in beautiful shape. There's a couple with little creases on, um, but I had to pay up for it. They had another offer that was pretty good, and I didn't want to let the cards go away because they don't come up every show, and when they do, I like to pick them up. And it's my collection. There's 712 exhibit cards in the set that I'm working on. The ones I picked up are pretty much 1947 through 49, maybe 1950. Some people call them postcards just because they're postcard size, but I don't have any in my set that have postcard backs. Those are pretty much from the 47 through 66. The postcards are pretty much test issue. They're very hard to come across. When you see them online, they're pretty expensive. So some people don't even think these are sports cards, which I think is kind of ridiculous with a baseball player on. Only baseball players were in this issue, in this set. So, for whatever you think, I'm collecting a baseball card set, and we'll start off with Luke Appling. Just a great shot of Luke. What I like about the exhibits, a lot of them have like the full body poses. Sometimes they're poses. They're probably mostly poses. I haven't found the photo for any of them, but next up, Richie Allen. And this is the version with the name spelled wrong, and that's the most common version. You can see in the lower right, or lower left as you're looking at the screen, I would say. It says an exhibit card, and that was on the cards from 1949 and carried over to 1950 on some of the players. Richie without the T there was one later in the 50s, and I do have that one. Here's Gene Bearden. Yogi Berra. Great shots. Here's another Hall of Famer, Lou Boudreau, Denny McClain's father-in-law. Denny mentions that when you talk to him. And this does have the salutation on there, but just looking at it, it's from the 47 through 66 set. There's a lot of people that have the Joe DiMaggio salutation, but it's not 1939 through 46. It's actually 47 through 66 from most of them that I see on the internet. There's Ralph Branca. Harry Burkane. Just awesome full body photos. Here's Lou Brissy. And of course, you can see there he has a guard on his leg there. His leg was shattered in World War II. He came back all the way to pitch again in the major leagues. A great Cardinal catcher, Walker Cooper. I didn't do any research on any of these cards ahead of time. It's just stuff that I've learned by reading articles and watching baseball films. Alvin Dark. And this one I needed for sure. I never had him in the Braves uniform. And I got an extra one of Alvin Dark. He went on to manage a few teams like the Giants in the 60s. And here's the Joe DiMaggio that I talk about. A lot of people think they have the old one from 39 to 46, where they actually have the 47 Joe DiMaggio. And you can tell by the width of the Made in USA down there on which year it is. It's Larry Doby. And every time I show that card, I like to mention that's Larry Doby in his Newark Eagles Negro League uniform. And they covered up the hat cap logo and the uniform logo, airbrushed them out. But that's the actual photo this is taken from, is a Newark Eagles photograph. And this was 1949 or 50 edition. Hall of Famer Bobby Doerr. Nice card of his. Dick Fowler. That's one of the few players I don't know a lot about. The ones that didn't play during my era. Frank Gustine. Another Yankee favorite. Tommy Heinrich. And I have another Tommy Heinrich. And a third one. Triples today for Tommy. Here we have another Tommy Holmes. This is another salutation. And you can tell for absolutely it was a 49 or 50 with an exhibit card on the bottom there. King Kong Charlie Keller. What a nickname. Just a fun name. The 1940s Yankees. Cleveland Indian Ken Keltner. Another Cleveland Indian. This is the Hall of Famer Bob Lemon. This is the version where you can see his glove. Here's Marty Marion. This is another salutation from 1940 with the 1949 an exhibit card added. New York Giants, Willard Marshall. And here's this card came in two versions. There's three of them in this fat stack, but they're all Barney McCoskey. There is a version that says Barney McCaskey. There's another McCoskey. And the final McCoskey. Here's Dale Mitchell. Another 1947. It's Johnny Mize. A lot of people would think that's a salutation. It is, but it's a later printing from the 1947 and or beyond, depending on the player. This is my favorite triple here. You got Stan Musial, a kneeling Stan Musial, and all the backs on these are clean. Clean cream color as you would expect in an exhibit card. It's another Stan the Man. And the third and final Stan the Man. Here's a 1949 Hal Newhouser. back-to-back MVPs for the Detroit Tigers. They won the World Series in 1945. Andy Pafko, he has different variations on how the yours truly is spelled, whether you can see the C on his hat or not. And of course, it was a salutation that was printed at a later printing of salutation. Here's one of my favorites. Of course, 49 rookie of Satchel Paige. He was only printed in 49. They didn't print him in the 50 set. Someday I'm going to go through each year and show all the players in each set. I think I have 48 complete. Still working on all the other years to complete the master set. Phil Rizzuto. Johnny Sane. Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain. We'll see the other part of that come up in a little bit. There's a couple of Enos Country Slaughters. Made the mad dash in the World Series. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Some great stories out there in baseball land. Here's the Warren Spahn of Spawn and Sane. Pray for Rain. And this is the Boston Braves before they moved to Milwaukee. Eddie Stanky. Snuffy Sternwise. Here's a great card. Jumping up and catching the ball low. New York Yankees, Snuffy Sternwise. Here's another 49 that it's not available in Bowman or Topps, I think, until 51. Bertie Tebbets. Bobby Thompson from the Shot Heard Around the World. Mickey Vernon, fielding pose. He also has a batting pose. I just love having all these great players from the 40s and 50s. And exhibit cards just, they don't bring the money, I guess. Probably because of the size. Eddie Waite is loosely the Natural is based on his story, shot by a deranged female. It says so on the back of his 55 Bowman baseball card. Here we have a Splinted Splinter, Ted Williams. This looks like about a 48-49. And it's a salutation, but his salutations went all the way up to 1960. So you could have a 1960 Ted Williams, and it's not a 39 through 46 salutation. Pitching Triple Crown winner, Bucky Walters. Dixie Walker. Here's another salutation that was printed later. And here's the 1948 Boston Braves with Spawn and Sane. These team cards are just fantastic in the exhibit card set. You can just you can make the faces out pretty easy on these compared to Topps issue with the smaller cards. Here's the best team card maybe in the set. 1948 World Champion Cleveland Indians. It's their last championship, but look at the players. There's Larry Doby on the top row, kitty corner down from him, Satchel Paige. Just an awesome card. So I thank you guys for going through that stack with me. It was a thrill picking them up. I thank the gentleman, I believe his name was John, who sold them to me for his family, from his family estate. And they'll be treasured in my collection. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We're going to be down around 0 degrees. What better way to stay warm and sit at home and look at baseball cards? Because I've been buying so many recently. I can't go a couple days without somebody offering me a whole bunch of baseball cards, and more than likely I end up picking them up, taking what I want, and sending the rest down to the next guy that would like them better. So just been some great stuff coming my way lately. So have a good one. Thank you very much.